Well, hello there. I'm Stephanie Stevenson, and I am also known as watercolor artiste in social media circles. And I am the artist of midlifeartist.com. And I'd like to welcome you to my Wednesday night weekly live stream where I usually work on something that's already in progress. Or if I don't have something in progress, it's something I start. It's always about the finish line though, so this is always usually the road to finishing a painting. I don't think I'm going to get there tonight with this one. Maybe I will. I don't know. It's a simple composition, but it's very dynamic in its lighting and hopefully awe-inspiring by the time I'm done. So I'm glad you're here to join me. I am, if you if you see the little chat thing on, that was my little test chat. I always test my chat thing before I go live and to make sure it's working. But anyway, so yeah, it's a little wackadoodle. Anywho, welcome. I don't have my apron. I think I need to put my apron on. But if anyone's wondering about what my shirt is, it's a shirt that I had made from an artwork I did. Just one more, and what it is a oops. It's a pen and ink that I did of a hand coming out of the water like they're drowning, but they're still reaching for that one last cupcake on a hook. Yeah, and I was thinking of me the whole time I was doing that drawing. So anyhow, I'm gonna get my my apron real quick. Uh, so hold on a minute. So I do this so I can actually clip my mic. And yes, if you can hear me, this is an apron my husband bought me. He's my Superman and I'm his Wonder Woman. And so, all right. So now I won't get paint on my lovely shirt. But hello, author Lisa Stevenson. How are you? How's it going in your neck of the woods? Ah, welcome. Okay, I'm going to go to news and events because I've got a lot to talk about before I get underway and I don't want to delay. I value everyone's time who joins in because I go to 9:30, 8 to 9:30 on Wednesday nights. That's what I do. So, so welcome. Anyhow, excuse me. My goodness. Okay. So, what you see here is my website, midlifeartist.com. This is the homepage. This is what greets you when you come to my website. And I decided to go ahead and feature on my homepage the live stream that I hosted on July 1st for the arts group from True Social called the Arts Collective, where we celebrated America and each other's artwork. So if you missed the live stream on July 1st, then you can watch the replay right from my homepage at midlifeartist.com. So just thought I'd share that with you. And then the other thing is I also am working to upload some new artwork. And one of the artworks I loaded up was my watercolor of my butterfly. And so I've got the signed prints already uploaded. I already have them in stock. So if you're interested in getting yourself one, they are available now. And I've got secure web store through Wix. So yes, this is that. I also have the original, which I haven't yet finished matting and framing. But when I do, it will be ready for shipping if someone wants to buy the original. But there is the print. I also will be working on, okay, hold on a second. Got my door. I got trifocal, so if you see me do this, I'm looking through the bottom. Excuse me. Oh, it works better when you hit interact. There we go. I also have a couple of prints of my Cherries Temptation, which is an oil pastel. I realized I didn't have any prints of that. So yeah, I have that uploaded as well. The original should already be on the web store, originals, because I do have the original matted and framed as well. I don't know why I can't scroll down. Uh, I am interacting, but it's under the originals page on my web store. Anyway, I don't want to spend a ton of time here, but you can find my shop and what I have available on it anytime, midlifeartist.com. All right, so what else do I have to share with? Oh, I did this week apply for the Creative Arts Guild Arts Fest in Dalton, Georgia. That takes place in September, and they have an opening night for the art exhibition. They've got two events where they have the exhibit, and then they have the opening weekend Arts Fest. That's Saturday and Sunday of that weekend, where you've got vendors in the pavilion portion of the Creative Arts Guild, where you can go check out artisans, artists, craftsmen, music, food vendors, things like that. So they also have a special children's tent where children can go in and see artwork that they'd like to get without the interference of their adults, parents, guardians, whatever. They go in and they can choose what they want, and everything's usually priced $20 and under. So if you want to instill a love of the arts in your children, they'll have an opportunity for that as well. And then these are the paintings that I submitted to the Arts Fest. So I did the full gambit. I thought it was allowed 7, but I guess it's just 6. So I have submitted these paintings for the jury review. And so whatever ones, if any, make it through the jury process, I will remove them temporarily from my web store because they have to be for sale during the tenure of the exhibit. And so I won't be able to sell them unless they sell at through the Creative Arts Guild at their exhibit. So depending upon which ones get approved, this will be what hopefully I have in the exhibit from mid-September through the end of October, I believe, is how long the exhibit goes. So cross your fingers, say a prayer that I have a worthy showing with these 6 paintings. So now I get the privilege to, this is not my drawing. One of the great things about being an artist that I never knew would happen is that I, in the process of doing events, that I would meet people. I mean, I knew I would meet people, but I didn't know what kind of relationships I would form at, face-to-face events. And I met this young lady. She's a young teenager. Her first name is Allison. She came and met me when I did my very first event last September at the Cahutta Street Dance locally. And so she came up to me and talked to me, and she's a young teenager, and she has this incredible artistic talent. She even had her sketchbook in hand. That's how enthusiastic and passionate she is about her drawing and trying to render things. And she loves to draw sharks and aquatic life. And she had come up to me and shown me her sketchbook. And she's been drawing in pencil, graphite. And so I thought, I would share with all y'all a sketch that she shared with me recently. She had also sought me out at the early May event in the local area for the Celebrate America's 250th. I put up a tent and she sought me out and came by to say hi again. And I don't think she realized that I would remember her. I just didn't remember her first name. But I remembered her, and she didn't have her sketchbook in hand that time. I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see what she was doing, but I think she was seeing that I had done a charcoal drawing live at that event, and we talked about charcoal, and I suggested she give it a try. And she she did, and she sought me out through my website and sent me an email through my website email and sent me this sketch. And she did give me permission to share it. It is not mine. And she says this is her use of charcoal pencil. So I just thought I'd share that with y'all. She's very talented. She told me that she would allow me to share some more of her artwork, maybe on a future live stream. But I didn't know that I would kind of have this mentoring relationship, and I'm happy to do it. And I hope that with future events in the area, that she would seek me out to say hi and show me her latest work. It's always nice over email, but it's better face to face. So I hope I can be somebody she can reach out to and support as she, stretches her legs on the journey of becoming an artist. So congratulations, Allison. You're doing a fantastic job. I'm honored to know you, and I'm even more honored that you sought me out to say hello and to share your talent with me. So yeah, I just wanted to brag on you with a lot of my friends that are part of my online art group. And so, yeah, I just thought you should know that very supportive group, and they're loving your shark. So be encouraged, keep drawing, and remember, my advice about making sure your aquatic creatures are placed in setting. So are they swimming next to a coral reef? Are they chasing after a fish? What are they doing? So you'll get there. You'll get there. So yeah, I have the honor of having that mentoring relationship, and I hope I can help her along in her journey. So thank you for listening to me on that. So I'm going to go back to the host view. All right, so I'm going to first go to palette cam because I'm going to talk about the colors of paint that I'm using tonight. And also I'm going to talk about the, I always say the fluid, but it's the odorless mineral spirit concoction I use with my paintbrushes to paint with. So I'm going to talk about that as well. So yeah, let's go to palette cam here. And all right, so what I have on my palette, I'm using my smaller palette instead of my bigger one, but I've got titanium white, I got ground white, I've got cadmium red light, I've got Hansa yellow, transparent yellow oxide, crimson alizarin, transparent red oxide, and then burnt umber, if I'm not mistaken. And these are going to be the colors of the fire in my painting that I'll be working with. So I've already got them out on my palette. And a couple of jars of my my fluid that I use are really dirty. So I got to let those settle, get the sediment to settle. So I'm going to create a new jar of that. And so I'm going to mix 6 parts Gamsol odorless mineral spirits, 6 parts to 1 part linseed oil. So that's what I use for my oil painting. So this is strictly for oil, and I'm eyeballing it. It's not precise. So I go halfway up this jar. There we go. So I got about halfway up, just in case. Close that right on up. And this week I got some more palette knives, but I won't be using them tonight. But I've had 1 palette knife that I've been using, and it's getting pretty grubby. Now I'm doing 6. I've got about a half a jar in this quart-sized jar. Excuse me here. I got a little bit of drippage on this thing. And then I'm going to put 1 part linseed oil. And that will help you apply paint and help it dry a little faster. The more linseed oil, the less likely it'll dry fast. So you just have to keep that in mind. And that is what I use with my oil paints. Okay, so let's go to the 2View live stream. There we go. There's my Elijah painting in progress. I worked on this, when did I work on this? I think I worked on this on another live stream, I think between this week and last Wednesday, I think. I've been live streaming a lot and doing a lot of recordings, trying to get some more content thrown up on Rumble. You know, I'll talk more about that later, but so yeah, I worked on the sides here and more on the fire portion. And I'm not liking the edges of my fire, but then again, it's not done. But this is 24 by 30 inch canvas, and it's a rendering of the passage of scripture about Elijah going up against 400 plus prophets of Baal by way of Jezebel, in terms of you know, a showdown about whose God is more powerful. And of course, this is the peak of the prophet Elijah, where the fire comes down to consume his sacrifice, which he had doused in water 3 times over. Excuse me. So if you're familiar with the passage of scripture, that's what that's about. Yeah, so let's see here. I think that's a little, I don't know, is that too, no, I'm just going to check and make sure that all right, that, I guess I'm just looking at my camcorder to see if maybe, oops, I don't want to get that close. I'm just trying to make sure that it's not too out of focus. This is the joys of painting, creating video content, producing, camera, chat moderator, all in one. I've got like 10 different hats. So everyone drop in the chat. Look in the special emojis. I've got some artwork in the special emojis on the Rumble side of things. And post an emoji from my special customized ones for me. Let me know you're there, that you're conscious, that type of stuff. I'm gonna pick my brush of choice. Excuse me. I don't know if all y'all have had issues with allergies, but they've been pretty bad this year. Excuse me. So yeah, my apologies if I'm coughing on y'all's ear. I don't mean to. I'm just making sure that there it is. Thank you, Lisa. You're alive. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I think what bothers me most right now is the fire. The edges are too distinct. So I'm going to work on that. There it is. Crazy Bear for the win. We're going to see how this looks. I'm just going to touch. Okay, that's trans yellow oxide right here. Trans yellow oxide, by the way, is a more transparent, oil color. along with the transparent red oxide. So I'm just seeing how that's going to work. I gotta get my picture up, see what I'm doing. There's a lot of I think that helps. I'm using the transparent oxides, yellow and red, and I think that's going to help me on these edges. And I think I'm going to get my Galkid. Galkid, by the way, is fast drying medium if you're new to my channel. If you're not new to my channel, then this is standard operating procedure. So yeah, I'm going to work on getting some more of the red. I think that red is going to really start making that fire pop. I'm going to get and I'm scumbling again, another term you've probably heard me use if you're not new, and if you are new, then scumbling is where you use the side of the brush instead of the end of the brush. So yeah. Hello, hello, Kim, how are you? Welcome, welcome everybody. Been one of those weeks, I think, where everything's just a little much, but I have to say, so I'm scumbling, again, using the side of the paintbrush to deliver the paint to the canvas. Yeah, deliver the paint to the canvas. Boy, does that sound like a weird thing to say. All right, Stephanie. Sure. Yeah, no, but the allergies have been kicking my butt and that of Ron's. We've actually feel like we've been living off of Claritin D lately. Oh my gosh. I don't know about all y'all, but man alive, it's been rough. So I'm trying to get the fire to look a little bit more billowy instead of pointy. I'll try to paint with my left hand here. That's always a challenge, painting with your non-dominant hand. Try that out. If you want to get loose, loose as a goose, there you go. Paint with your non-dominant hand and holy cow, you'll get loose. You won't be so tight with your paintbrush or your drawing instrument, that's for sure. What do you think about me adding that red in the oxide? I think that's going to really develop this plume of fire coming down from heaven. So yeah, I'm using again the Galkid. It helps dry things faster. More billowy fire. I did switch back to my dominant hand. I shouldn't, so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I think what I'll do is I'll get all the yellow and red oxide coloration going in here, and then come back in maybe with the brights. And you can see that when I try to paint with the red oxide transparent, colors, they don't really go over the dark colors. Now, if I were to do a pure opaque color, I could paint over these bluish dark areas and get that more billowy. And I may still have to do that with real color. So yeah, I think what Ron and I have discovered is that we're probably allergic to our kitty cat, mama cat, because I have a feeling that every time we pet, we've actually seen it happen where we'll pet her, either he or I, and the next thing we know, our eyes are watering, our throats got all kinds of phlegm coming up and things like that. And it's like, okay, and that was right after petting her. We're not gonna, that means we're just gonna have to find a way to, we live off of Claritin the rest of our lives, I guess, right? So yeah. I'm using a round brush, by the way. I usually like to use a filbert, which is like a square brush, but rounded off at the end. But this time I'm using a round brush. I think it's definitely, I do have to come back in here with more opaque colors, I think up there. But yeah, already I think it's starting to come along and really look more fire-like. What do you guys think? So, Lisa, how's the writing going? I know you were working on I know that Resilient is part of a series, but I think you were working on another writing too. I don't know if you're still working on that or if you're back to working on the Resilient series or what, but how's the writing going? And if y'all aren't connected to me on social media, if then it'll be hard for you to find it. But I posted, I think it was today, the interview you had, Lisa, with the Once Upon a Podcast interview you had, which I think you did fantastic, by the way. I really do. I don't think you have anything to worry about there. Once Upon a Hot Take. Thank you. I can never remember. I know it's Once Upon, and then I lose it. Good golly, Miss Molly. This is really kind of like coloring with paint. You know that? I think that's definitely looking better than where it was. Remember, I started this off as a monochromatic painting where it was mainly yellow ochre and shades of yellow ochre to define tonalities. And if I want to, I can come back in and take some of this out with a, you can see how that's, I'm just using a tissue to remove some of that paint to reveal the white against, and I'm using the swirliness of that Is that what that is? Okay, I was wondering what the Saharan dust reference was, but that's what, is that coming across even as far up as northwest Georgia, Zin, causing the allergy? We thought maybe it was a local plant or something. I have to say, this the red and yellow oxide really are the way to go when you want to do a fire plume. Holy cow, what a, that was, sometimes you have to paint with your fingers. Sometimes. You get your fingers in the graphite, you get your fingers in the charcoal, and you can get your fingers in the oil paint, but you make sure you wash your hands really good after oil painting, because you don't want that. Some of the colors have metals in them you don't want on your hands or on your dermis. So, you know, better to. I'm not good at wearing gloves because I need to be able to feel things, and I don't think gloves do that for me. So. Yeah, I'm getting really high up. I'm sitting down because I can see better this way. Yeah, some of this is a little much. I'm gonna have to pick it back up. What do I do with my? I'm liking that better. I say, I know that along the edges of the fire plume in my reference photo is more of a burnt umber. So I am going to bring in some of that. It's not the same color as the sky. So it's got a definitive look to it. The sky is more of a turquoise Prussian blue background with clouds in in the background. Yes, I can. All right. So, I, Kim is asking about the oxide. So I'm using Blue Ridge. I don't know if you can see that. Blue Ridge oil paints. Okay, and they're out of North Carolina, and they have this transparent red oxide and transparent yellow oxide, and it's more of a transparent oil paint, where most other oil paints are opaque, unless it obviously says transparent. It has some sort of translucence. These happen to be made again by Blue Ridge Oil Paints out of Asheville, North Carolina. And I think the website is blueridgeoilpaint.com, as it says on the back of the thing. So if you're interested in those, you don't have to get that brand. I'm sure other brands do these same colors. This is the brand I happen to have, and it's coming out really well. So yes, if you want a transparent effect with these colors, that's the way to go. I touched a little bit into the crimson alizarin up here, and it got a little dark because it's more opaque. And now I'm going to touch. Now this is not transparent. This is the burnt umber of the same brand. And I'm touching, and I'm not going to come in too much, but the edge of the fire plume has a smoky feel to it. So up against the sky, up against the clouds and sky in the background. So I have to get that effect going where it's the smokiness as the intensity of the fire burns off and the smoke takes over. That's where the burnt umber is going to kind of come in. And it's only going to be touches here and there. I got to be very careful because it comes in a little bit. But yeah, I'm doing burnt umber right here. Okay, and so that's what I'm using to delineate the smokiness of the edge of the plume with the fire of the plume, but differentiated from the sky itself. So yeah, so the transparents are definitely to give you a more depth of color without opacity, you know. So, and you're welcome. So yeah. And so yeah, I'm just touching the burnt umber in some spots here. Where it must be billowing. Definitely looking more like fire, which actually makes the sky and the clouds in the back kind of pop. So sometimes, which is a good lesson for artists to learn about when working, is that you get so focused on your positive subject matter, and you forget about the negative space around. And when you develop the negative space, it makes something else pop forward. And then you come back to the positive space and develop it more, and then suddenly that gets put in its place and it starts to make more sense. And so it's layering, it's developing multiple spots in your composition. Again, I'm just touching the middle. I keep looking over at my screen because it's an interesting way to see it when you're painting. You're up close, like I am right now, and it looks different than when it's on the camera. So when you see me look over like this, I'm looking at the painting on the camcorder to see what it's looking like. That actually helps me with the development. It's almost akin to if you don't live stream and you don't have live cameras and stuff like I'm doing, you take a picture of your artwork and then you look at the picture and it doesn't look like how your eye sees it in real life. It helps you see something that you don't see normally. And so I find that there's value in taking pictures of your artwork, especially during the process, so that way you get a sense of the development going on. And again, the edges have to be a little bit less distinct on the edges. The fire, where the fire fizzles out into smoke at the edges. So I think it's really kind of starting to work. And of course, the closer you get to the ground, the brighter it should be, because that's the sacrifice being consumed. Exactly. Exactly, Ray. And so, don't be afraid to take pictures. And what happens is I take pictures, as you guys know, if you're connected to me online, then you know that uh, that I take pictures of my work through development. And then I save that and then I make a video about it later. Progression video, sort of like a slideshow set to music. I haven't done that in a while, so I got to do that for some of my more recent work. But now that I'm closer down here, I'm using less red oxide and I'm using the yellow oxide to develop some of the billowiness closer to the hottest part of the scene here. So I still have it very bright down here, but I've really kind of developed the fire going on here. Back into my burnt umber. I'm going to get some more of that up here. Now my painting has gotten really wet, so it's now going to start to blend a little bit. And most of this is, like I said, done through a brushwork called scumbling. Again, using the side of the brush more than the end. And if you can hear it, I don't know if you can, but it's definitely a different feel. To the canvas. But now you can see that burnt umber on the edges is now starting to show where the smoke, the fire is starting to extinguish into smoke as it spreads out, but it's distinct from the sky. So yeah. So I imagine people who watched me start this thought, my gosh, that looks like a big old mess. And that's how I felt too. Looking like a big old mess. But when you work in layers like this, it will reward you if you're diligent with the layers and the color choices. So you just have to be diligent to paint what you see, not what you know. If you've been with me at all at any length of time, I've said that before. Draw what you see, not what you know. Paint what you see, not what you know. Because what you think you know isn't exactly accurate. Now that's definitely looking like fire. And now, because of that, this is really popping forward where it didn't before. And I got to develop this now, because this is really clouds that are lit up by the light against a nighttime sky that's kind of cloudy. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to just paint a little bit of the brightest parts of the fire back in with a touch of my Hansa yellow here, Hansa yellow with white. Oops, looks like I got, all right, you know what? I'm gonna get one of my new, this is turning a little putrid green because I had apparently some blue on my, this is one, this palette knife I've had since college days, and it's all kinds of, it needs some assistance. So I'm going to use a new palette knife, brand new, brand spanking new. I think you're right, Zen. I always call it the ugly phase when there's a phase of the painting that that seems to just look like a complete utter mess. And I'm not a huge fan of that step, but it's part of the process. This does not have as much flexibility as my trusty college palette knife. So yeah, I'm having a little bit of issue here. All right, let's see. I'm not doing a whole bunch. I just want to touch some of the brightest parts to kind of bring that forward a little bit. All right, so right here. And of course my canvas is wet. So if I start to drag the brush across it at this point, it's going to start to mix and blend. And that's not what I want. So I'm kind of just touching some of these bright areas. Almost very scary, like hot, hot right there. That's really coming across, I think. So yeah, I'm not dragging the brush, I'm tapping it to the, now that's definitely brighter. It gets a little less bright up top, although there are some bright spots because the source is coming from up here. So we want to indicate the source of the fire has a supernatural origin. And so we want to indicate, like I said, just touching, because I don't want this to blend too much. But there you go. I think you're our resident gouache expert, Zin, and I think you're right. And gouache is like the oil paint of the water-based mediums. So because gouache reactivates with water. And don't worry about the bottom here. I am going to develop that. This is really the focus of the painting in my estimation. That really kind of brings an awe-inspiring kind of feel to it. The other thing is I think I'm going to try to tastefully do some splatters of the bright or the yellow to indicate sparks that are flying where it kind of explodes out from here. But that'll be probably towards the end. Some of this is a little too distinct for me, so I'm touching my finger. Like I said, I don't advise this barehanded for anyone who's very sensitive. I wash my hands immediately after a paint session. But down here is Elijah, just kind of blocked in, and then the altar is being consumed, so you can't really see it. So I don't really worry about rendering the altar because right now it's being blasted by the fire from heaven. But I will render the prophets of Baal that are watching this and realizing that they've just lost the battle of whose God is powerful and whose is not. So yeah, down here, I have it as an indication down here that the water that was spread over the sacrifice was so much that it spilled all over the place, and so the ground is wet and reflecting the light of the fire being called down from heaven. And so this is actually reflecting, because it's wet ground, and it's reflecting the power of the fire. And so this will eventually be rendered better as in the dark, shadowy areas, the bright reflection of the light, the plume of the fire. I'm going to get these blocked in figures more distinct, although they're only going to be in not profile, but what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Not profile, not relief. Can't remember the word. I'll think of it. But yeah, so the fire really is starting to come along. I still feel like I don't have it very well here. So I think I'm going to try to develop up a little more. And then I'm going to try to get the sky rendered well as well. So let's see here. I'm running out of my, and it is blending. So I may have to get more of that. Again, that is the edges is I'm using burnt umber, and I use burnt umber a lot. You can see my tube is getting small because I use it a lot. It's a versatile color without actually using black, because black is not really what you want here. It's it's very rare that anything's black. There's a lot of dark going on in certain things, but it's rarely black. There's always color when you see, like an artist, like you draw or you paint what you see, not what you know. So what I'm doing is trying to there we go. What are we talking? Flash Gordon? I love that movie. How many of us are old enough to have watched that movie, Flash Gordon? Who's willing to put their their age out there? Silhouette, Kim. You're right. That was the word I was looking for. Silhouette. But now you can see, like I said, the plume of fire all of a sudden really pops, and then you got the clouds and the dark sky. And so what I need to do is try to see if I can't develop that a little bit more. I'm a little nervous to touch it, though. Tell you the truth. How bad is that? I feel like Flash, the center of the universe, right? Isn't that what it goes? So yeah, you get the impression. Now, as it goes over here, by the way, it will not be as bright here, as bright as here. So it's going to come across as this, and they're going to be in silhouette, as Kim got me the word. Thank you. Silhouette. So yeah, now I don't have that over here. I got a lot of colors still on this palette that I'm gonna have to use elsewhere. I hate wasting paint because paint is expensive and you don't want to waste paint. So I'll have to find something else to paint with these colors. So let's see here. I need Prussian blue. I still got white. I got that. Where's my Prussian blue? Phthalo turquoise? Okay, I do want phthalo turquoise. I can't really say that very well. Prussian blue and white. That's what's made up here. And when I need it to get darker, I add the burnt umber. And that's how I've gotten this. Let's see if I can't move this over. There we go. So a lot of this is bright, but I think I need to develop it more cloudy. I don't know how to get cloudy. What happened to my thing? Mount Sinai. I could do that. I could do Mount Sinai too. Yeah. I'd have to come up with I'd have to get a mountain with the fire at the top and the Israelites at the bottom, probably around the golden calf, learning. Gonna be learning the hard way. But The other scriptural painting I've been contemplating on rendering at some point in the near future. This is a phthalo turquoise, and then Prussian blue. They're very dark colors, but they have that chroma to them. That's really nice. Is the Samson in the temple, pulling the temple down. I'd love to try to render that. I try to think of the biblical stories that aren't rendered as well as much. You know, you get a lot of Moses parting the Red Sea, but I keep looking because I got glare right here. So maybe I stand up. There's a lot. All right, let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix burnt umber with some Prussian blue to get a really dark. Now this looks black. It's not black. It's burnt umber and Prussian blue. And I'm going to get dark here. Put another layer. This is one of the darkest areas of the sky in my reference shot. You can see how dark it's rendering compared to what it was. And it's not black. It's a mix of burnt umber and Prussian blue. So I don't really use black all that much, except for when I need touches of something like a lining. And then here, and some of these areas are dark. And again, I've been using the same brush all night. It's the same round brush. Let's see here. And you can tell it's not the same as the edging of the fire. Got a different feel to that dark color. And that's because it's got Prussian blue in it. So there's nuanced darks in this that are just touches. And I might actually have to get a smaller brush. I really got to try to capture that, and this is probably going to be the toughest area of this painting for me, to tell you the truth. Seems odd, but it is. It's definitely up here is dark too, so I want to get this. I know how to get this to spread a little bit. Put some of my Galkin in it. And you think, oh, well, that's dark enough, but when you do another layer, it shows you it's not quite there yet. A lot of nuanced shading going on in here. Again, I'm looking in my camera because this is all in glare right now for me. It's very glary. Glary, that's a new word. Glary. Spell it out for me, guys. Glary. Yes, join in every Wednesday when Stephanie creates a new word. Glary. What do you think of that? And you think that's coming out? Do a Bob Ross. I'm sorry, I don't think I can. I'm not that skilled. He's the king. King of painting with oil paints. What do you think of that? I think that's rendering better. I think. Again, burnt umber, Prussian blue, a little bit of Galkid, make it last, go a little further. This is definitely, I can actually see it better on my camera than I do when I'm standing right in front of it. How bad is that? How bad is that? Giving a lot of love to the right-hand side of this. This is not as bright. So I'm scumbling lately. Shouldn't be as bright. All right, who's up for palette cam? Let's do a palette cam view. Let's see if I can do this without losing my palette cam. We'll go to palette cam total. Okay, that's too sideways, sorry. I'm going to turn it briefly. Where's my spot there? Okay. So it's out of the glare. Or try to get it out of the glare. You see, all I got is just hints of people here with just simple brush strokes. These will get defined because what I'll do is I'll probably paint the fire over them, and then when it dries, come in with the silhouette of the prophets, and then same with Elijah here. And then of course you got the reflection. This is going to be super dark, and then the wet reflection. Again, this is 24 by 30 inches. So there we go. Back up here. Move that around. Plug it back in if I can, because I'm not exactly. There we go. Into view. All right, now I'm going to put this back so you guys don't have the glare. I think to some extent there's some reflective orange on these clouds. Not sure if I can get that, so I may have to try, but not with this brush. I'm going to try to do some more development over here with what I'm already working in. So here, this is not coming across very dark, but I'm going to get it there because this is darker. Scumbling. Who knew that scumbling would be so fun? You got to try it. If you haven't tried scumbling in your oil painting endeavors, try it. It's fun. It gives you a different kind of texture, gives you a different feel for the paint against the... There we go. We got some darkness coming in now. There we go. Some of this has to be softened. There we go. This is making more sense now. The other thing about this, I don't know if anyone's caught it yet, is that I've got warm to cool, right? I got this plume of fire, which is obviously hot, warm, but then I got the coolness of the sky, you know, like, you know, the coloring is definitely in contrast, stark contrast to the fire. And now I'm standing doing this, and I'm doing it left-handed, all. Doing it left-handed. How about that? Where's my, there we go. This is also dark. I'm gonna have to do some more here. Uh-oh, guess what? I gotta add more, yet more of my burnt umber. You see how much burnt umber I use? I use burnt umber in all kinds of things. It's a very versatile color. It helps darken things. It helps give a, you know, it's a warm color, but when mixed with Prussian blue, it really, really helps to develop the scene here. And then I'm not trying to be too terribly dark with this. I want this to be slightly darker, but not completely as dark, so it registers as a cloud. Add more Galkid, that'll help. And I am purely mixing on the palette here. And again, when I'm done developing these sections of the painting, I'll probably come in with some very select splatterings of sparks and stuff to really show the movement of the fire against the sky and everything else. It'll really have that effect. So that is the plan. What do you think about that? Is the sky too distracting? Do I need to reduce the amount of clouds? Or do you think that's okay? Maybe I need to, the clouds being reflective of the fire, the light of the fire might be too much, and it might be competing with my fire. What do you think? Is it competing? Because it's easy enough to kind of take some of this and paint over it, but I've got a good effect going, but I think it might be a little distracting from the fire, believe it or not. So what do you think? And I'm okay if you guys have an opinion on that matter. I don't want to distract from the fire, but I do want a dynamic. So I'm just trying to figure out if maybe I got too much going on in the clouds. Okay. I do think on some of this, closest to the fire, I might try to do an orangey reflection off of these clouds. I think what I'll do is I'm just going to darken some of these areas a little bit so they're not all the same value. What do you think? It may be too much going on. I'll have to think about it. Yeah, this actually has a bright spot as if it's very close to the plume of fire. And same over here. Let me show you guys the references. I got two references that I've been using to kind of amalgamate to this image. I'm going to go back to my palette cam briefly. So you guys can see. I gotta get it bigger. Okay, so I have two images I'm going to show you. One on the left, one on the right. The one on the right is the one I'm using for the fire plume in the sky. The one on the left is for the people and the foreground here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead to palette cam so you can see this. So the one on the right, you can tell. You see what I mean by the clouds? And then I'm using this one for as a reference for the people in the, so I'm using the skies over here and the foreground over here. And this is where I'm getting this. See what I'm saying? So what do you guys think? Should I feel like maybe I got a little too much going on in that sky, but I could just walk away from it temporarily anyway and see how it goes. So you see what I mean? I think I got a little too much going on. I might have to get darker down here. Again, this is a little bit glary. Glary again. There's that word. I told you. Tune in next Wednesday for a new word of the week. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. So given that, I'm going to look at my I'm just contemplating. Coffee break. All right. Good idea. I wish I had a coffee. Of course, at this time of night, I probably wouldn't get to sleep very well, unless it's decaf. So let me go back to post solo for a minute and sit down for a minute, drink a little water. Where am I at? Am I close to almost 9? I am almost close to 9:30. Boy, time flies when you're having fun, and I really am. I was really having a good time over here. Really getting this developed. Let's see, camcorder. Let me show you what camcorder looks like. Let's take the chat out for a second. There we go. That's without glare. So I think I need to maybe make most of this very dark here, and then do some more dark here. So it's really just these brighter areas up here that kind of have that reflectivity of the fire because they're close. And then have this dark and this dark. So I need to just, maybe that's what I need to do. So yeah. Okay. Cam. Am I on camcorder? Okay. Oops. I'm having issues. Having issues. All right. So I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I thought I'd share with you. Wait a minute. RPM. And then events. Hold on. Copy. I'll go to reminders. Paste as reference. There we go. I can do this right here. Okay, so I'm going to just briefly talk about what I've been trying to do this month. And then to the left is the Rumble monthly requirements to stay in the Rumble Creator Program and earn more money than just not being in it. To the right here is where I'm at before I started the live stream. This is where I'm at. Again, unique chatters. I need up to 75. That's going to be the biggest challenge. And then, of course, the other big challenge is the hours viewed. Ron and I have really been trying to crank out the viewing with our various computers throughout the day, letting my videos run. So yeah. Anywho, that is where I'm at. Again, I posted earlier this week that I'm going to still try to hit those markers, but I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't hit them, and I'm not going to worry about trying to get back into the program if I drop out of it because I didn't hit the markers. And I'm going to just keep my feet on the ground and just try to keep growing organically and see what happens in a month or so. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is what I'm going to do. Let's see. I got too many windows popping up. Well, hello there, Allison. I'm so glad you got to join in. I hope you got to see the beginning of the live stream. If you didn't, you can check out the replay once it's finished uploading or whatever it does after I hang up the phone, so to speak. But I did feature your shark drawing. I wish I had more of your other drawings in time for the live stream, but if you want, I can share more of your drawings next Wednesday so people can see how talented you are, because you're very, very talented, and I want to see you grow with that. I want to see you keep going, because you're extremely talented. God gave you that talent for a reason. And if there's anything I can do to help you with that, please let me know. But yeah, the group loved the shark, so I thought I would let you know. So yeah, and that's okay. You know, like I said, if you send me more sketches that you want me to share on my live stream on next Wednesday night, I'll be more than happy to share them, so everyone can see how you're doing with it. Again, Allison is a young lady. She's in her teens, and she's just starting on her artist journey. And I love it, love it, love it. And so us fellow creatives, we're in it to win it together. So yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, great. Absolutely. So yeah, I try to prop as many people up as I can. Not just myself, because it's my channel, but I'm part of an art group online, and we help each other out. And I'm not saying you should get online, because I think you're too young and your parents, you follow what your parents say. But yeah, absolutely. I'm here to support you and help you out whenever I can to the best of my ability. So yeah, awesome. So at this point, it's about 9:30, and like I promise, every Wednesday, I only go to 9:30 because I respect people's time. But I just want to thank everybody who joined me tonight, who watched me paint, and gave me encouragement as well, because sometimes I get stuck. Sometimes, a lot of times I get stuck. And thanks for the ideas. I don't want to waste the paint on my palette, so I got to come up with another idea or try to keep them moist. There's that word. We hate that word. and I'll have to see if I do another live stream between now and next Wednesday. Again, anything between now and next Wednesday is impromptu or sudden or without planning, because I'm just trying to put more content out there. I'm actually trying to learn DaVinci Resolve, the free version, to do video editing in a little bit more professional way, to help me put together the recorded stuff that I've done that you guys haven't seen yet, into a cohesive video that I can upload as more content, not necessarily as a live stream. So I got learning curves this way and that way and every way at midlife. And I figure all this stuff I'm learning, I can eventually help my husband who does his own project. We're going to do a live stream soon of me and Ron together. So be on the lookout for the announcement of that, because he's an artist as well. If you're new to the live stream, my husband is a comic book artist, and he's got a project he's working on. And so we probably will do that on a Saturday night. So keep a lookout on social media and on my website for an announcement about that, because that'll be a special live stream outside of my Wednesday ones. So yeah. So thanks everybody for joining. Have a good night and a good weekend. And if I don't see you before next Wednesday, join me again at 8 o'clock next Wednesday, and we'll see what we're doing then. All right. You guys have a good night, and God bless you, and I will see you next time.